Victor Mather of the New York Times wrote, "The game was played on November 21st, 1943. American forces had just invaded Tarawa, an atoll in the Pacific. British troops had captured the town of Archi in Abruzzo, Italy. The Germans and Russians were battling in the Kiev Bulge, and the biggest football game of the year was played in South Bend, Indiana. Anticipation was high. Notre Dame had Johnny Lujack at quarterback, who after a stint in Navy would go on to win the Heisman Trophy in 1947. He was replacing Angelo Bartelli, who would win the Heisman later that year despite an abbreviated season. Bartelli had been called up to the Marines after Notre Dame's first 6 games, and eventually he fought on Iwo Jima. The line, even in war doesn't stop gamblers from betting, was Notre Dame by 20 points. Even in war, America needed football. Tom Layberger Forbes wrote, "Thanks to battles against enemies abroad and an invisible one sweeping its way through the country in 1918, the college football season was abbreviated for most teams and non-existent for others. The cumulative impact of World War I, the Spanish influenza, resulted in numerous games being canceled and schools scrambling to salvage their schedules. But there was a football season. Even in a pandemic, America needed football." In the modern era, not a single NFL game has been canceled, much less a season. Not in 1963 with the assassination of President Kennedy, and not even in 2001 with terrorism of 9/11. That weekend's game was rescheduled. Even in a national crisis, America needed football. Huddled in stay-home couches because of stay-home orders, 11.2 million Americans were given a weekend of hope and somewhat normalcy on the weekend of April 23, 2020. That hope was because of the NFL draft, when those 11.2 million viewers tuned in to watch the first round. 30% greater viewership than any other NFL draft. Clearly, America needs football. This podcast is brought to you by the great NFL coaches at ProCoach.network, where they believe that quality coaching is important. This is Paul Alexander, an NFL coach of 26 years, but today I'm here to coach you, the football listener, with a curious mind. The passion for the game and the inspiration it provides are cornerstones of American culture. So is the economic impact. Canceling an NFL season would be the first ever in the history of our country. Here's one man's plan. Fall 2020. Play NFL games. But those NFL games will need restrictions, socially distanced and limited fans, vigilant testing of players, staff, media, and officials, equipment modifications such as protective shields attached to face masks to serve as face coverings, individualized water bottles, partitions in locker rooms, and more. Perhaps the preseason would need to be reduced, or the season started later until logistics could work out. But there would be football. The games can be played safely, but how can they be profitable with half-empty stadiums? Here's the answer. Play the college and high school football season in the spring. Give the entire fall to the NFL, where games can be televised on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday as normal, but add Friday and Saturday NFL football. Networks hurting for lack of fresh content and advertising revenues would jump at the possibility to televise more NFL games. In the end, networks, the NFL, and fans would benefit. Rather than taking a financial hit, it could be a financial gain. Spring 2021. University football programs fund the entire athletic department in most FBS schools, but the funding comes from fan-filled stadiums of football Saturdays. If college football was played this fall at half-empty stadiums, budgets wouldn't balance. A canceled college football season would drive college athletics programs to the verge of bankruptcy. So move the college season to the spring. Why? The assumption is that a vaccine to counteract the coronavirus would be available by then and stadiums would fill. The colleges could also play their games Thursday to Monday and monopolize the television airways, a possibility that surely the networks would eagerly desire. In the end, college football, in my opinion, would generate more income in spring 2021 than any other college football season. Colleges in general will be hurting financially. This could help. Colleges with their indoor practice facilities are more ready to handle a spring season than any secondary football league such as the XFL. Some will be concerned that NFL potential players would be playing games in the spring and then in the fall, which might be too much football in a matter of months. So why not let those players with pro potential and physical concerns enter this summer's NFL's supplemental draft? The eligibility rules for the supplemental draft would need to be modified, but haven't all the rules changed during these times? Well, what about high school? Play that in the spring too. Move baseball and track to the fall with safe procedures. But play football. America needs football. So many moms and dads these days have prohibited their sons from playing football because of concussions. The virus on top of that would have a debilitating effect of high school football participation. But playing football in the spring would eliminate the fears for players, parents, and fans. Well, what about lacrosse and soccer? Other than face shields, problems need to be solved. But it's football. It's football that's the economic machine that drives the economy. Further, problems can't be solved while sitting on our hands. We can't wait and hope and then cancel football at the last second. We need to play football. And America needs football. This is Paul Alexander. Feel free to follow me at Coach Paul X or visit my website at Coach Paul Alexander.